Hi guys, this is Miss Leslie from the Paul Sawyer Public Library. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today's craft from our December craft kit is yarn wrapped candy canes. And you know, when I think of candy canes, I think of very traditional candy canes, red and white peppermint candy canes. And that's what we're going to do today with our yarn and our little wooden candy cane. But you know, when I go to the grocery store and go down the candy aisle, the Christmas candy aisle, there are all kinds of colorful candy canes, all kinds of different flavors of candy canes. So even though we're going to make a traditional candy cane today, just know if you have extra yarn at home that is different colors other than red and white, feel free to create your own colorful candy cane, because we love it when you get creative and we love it when you share it with us. So if you've got extra yarn, feel free to do that. So in your kit you found a little sandwich bag, and in that sandwich bag you found a little wooden candy cane, you found some red yarn and some white yarn, and that's the makings of our candy cane. Now, one thing that I found when I started wrapping my candy cane is I needed a little extra help from some Scotch tape or a little glue dot, because it was kind of hard for me to hold the end of the yarn on there while I was wrapping. But if you can do that without the tape, feel free to do that. But if you want a little extra stability, just grab a little piece of tape. So what I did is I found an end of the red yarn, because we're going to start with our red yarn and then go back and fill in with our white. And I taped the very end of the red yarn with a teeny little piece of Scotch tape to the candy cane, because once we start wrapping the yarn on there, it's going to cover up the candy cane or cover up where the tape is. And you know, when we get all this wrapped on there, we will still see some of the wooden part of the candy cane, and that is okay. That's what I think makes it so much fun and what kind of gives it that homemade flavor. And that's what I like most, because whether you're keeping it on your own tree or you're giving it as a gift, there's just something about something that's homemade, and that's why I really like it. So go ahead and tape the end of your red to the very bottom of your candy cane. If you don't need tape, don't worry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a few wraps down at the bottom to kind of cover up that tape, and also just to kind of give it a little bit more stability as we wrap. So you can kind of judge how many wraps you want to put down there. And the thing about this candy cane is, if you get it, the red wrapped on there and you're like, I don't like that, the way that that looks, you can unwrap it and start all over. And the same with once you get the white part on there. There is no right or wrong way to do it. This is your candy cane to create however you want. And like I said, you can undo it and redo it however you need to. And just because I maybe put several wraps on there, if you want to do it a different way, wrapping it, feel free to do that. This is just going to kind of give you an outline. So I probably put maybe 10 wraps down at the bottom, just to give it a little bit of that red. And then what I'm going to do, in order to save some room for my white, is I'm going to leave a little space there. So you see I left a gap in the wood there. And then I'm going to start wrapping some more. And it's up to you how many wraps. And if you get to the top and you're like, I don't have enough, then just take it off and start all over. This is your candy cane. And then I'm gonna go ahead and leave another little space for the white. So you can see I've left some space for the white, and I'm holding on to the tip of this candy cane. And if you get to the top and you're like, I have a lot of extra, just grab a pair of scissors and clip it off, and you can use that extra to tape to the back or glue to the back and create a little hanger for your candy cane. That is completely up to you. And then once you get to the top part of your candy cane, you can always take another little piece of Scotch tape and tape the end to it. It's completely up to you. Or you can cut it off and then kind of tuck the end underneath all the other yarn on here. It's whatever's easiest for you. So what I'm going to do is, I've got about this much left, and I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut a little piece off of it, and then I'm going to take a piece of my Scotch tape and I'm going to kind of tape that down. I'm going to grab it here, get a little piece, and once I go back and fill in with the white, it'll really cover up the tape so you won't even see it. I'm going to tape it off here, and now I can go back and I can fill in with the white. So there's my candy cane. with the red on it. And now I'm going to grab my white here, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in with the white. And if you just want to put a few wraps on it and then cut it off, you do whatever you need to do to make it your own. So then I'm just going to hold the back of this. Since I've got a little bit more stability with my red on there, I'm going to just kind of hold the back of this. And I'm just going to start wrapping and adding my white in there where I left those spaces. Because now that I have my red on there, that kind of gives me a little bit more to go by. And I'm just going to kind of hold the end and fill in. And there is something about making little homemade gifts or homemade ornaments. I still have mine from when I was a little girl. And my mom still has them too. So that's really cool. I always enjoyed doing that. And I still enjoy doing it today. And I love seeing what you guys do with your crafts when you share them with us. All right. Hang tight. Let me get this back on here. Now I'm to the top. Just getting a little hold of this here. And then I'm just going to start wrapping that to cover that up. Get all my wood covered. And then as you get towards the end, it does get a little tricky with holding it on there. But, like I said, if you make a little bit of a boo-boo, you can always go back and fill in. Or you can redo it. If you get to it and you're like, I like it the way that it is, that is completely okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all this wrapped up here. And then I'm going to tuck my white in. On the back, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the wood there so you can see it, just because I like how that looks. Cut that off with my scissors. A little loop here, and I'll show you what the finished product looks like in just a second. I'll make a little adjustment here to my white. Kind of scooch it over. The thing that I like about this is it's so easy. Like I said, if you see something on there and you're like, oh, I don't like that, you can just pull that yarn off and start all over again. So there's really no right or wrong way to do it. It's not like you've glued something down and have to take it apart. So I've got a little excess left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip that off, and I'm going to push it under in the back to kind of keep it stable. And push it under. That's the thing, when if you can slip the little bit that you've got underneath there or on there, if you've got a little bit of excess yarn, you can kind of slip it in the back, or you can cut it off and put a little bitty glue dot on the back, because that glue kind of blends in with the glue dots, and you can tuck it underneath. And that is your yarn wrapped candy cane. You can see I've got a little bit of the wood poking out there and a little bit of the wood poking out there. It just gives you a little extra flair. But that is your yarn wrapped candy cane. Pretty cool, I think. Now, like I said, if you want to add more red and white yarn to it, you can definitely do that. If you want to do different colors, you can definitely do that. Now you have the outline for how to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed our yarn wrapped candy canes, and I hope you have a happy holiday. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.